It was on December 27 in 1831, that Charles Darwin set sail from England, on the HMS Beagle. Darwin's biology professor had recommended that he go on the upcoming voyage, touring the Galapagos Islands and South America, but his father was against the dangerous trip. The captain of the ship, who was into phrenology, almost barred Darwin from going. Phrenology was rather popular in Darwin's day. It was a study of the shape and bumps on the head, and phrenology was used as a predictor of a person's abilities, wealth, health, and usefulness. Darwin went anyway, and he explored the rainforests, and was amazed by the plants and animals that he found. He returned to England, and he thought about what he had discovered, and he mulled it over. He then developed his theory of evolution, but he sat on it for many years. In his book, On the Origin of Species, published in 1859, 20 years after he wrote it, he wrote, "Probably all organic beings which have ever lived on this earth, have descended from some one primordial form, into which life was first breathed. There is grandeur in this view of life, that from so simple a beginning, endless forms, most beautiful, and most wonderful, have been, and are being, evolved." Though best remembered today, for his work on the origin of species, upon his death, Darwin was best remembered for his work on earthworm research. So popular was his book about earthworms, that people in North America started importing them, and today, earthworms in the northern parts of the Americas are a relatively new, and invasive species. Papers have been recently published, as to how the invasive critters, are causing great changes in the soils, and groundwaters, and greatly changing the chemistry of the forests, and thus doing damage. It's a slow process for sure, but we can expect great changes in the trees that have returned since the glaciers receded. It was the glaciers that killed off the earthworms too. He also was so fascinated with barnacles, that he had them on display, and for research, in almost every room of the house. One day his young son George was visiting a classmate's home, and he asked, "Where does your father keep his barnacles?" "Encourage others."